Hey folks, before we get going on today's episode, I do want to remind you that it's Cyber Monday. And if you want some amazing deals for today only, make sure you head over to McFeely's. You'll find great quality products at amazing prices. And since you're online, go ahead and open up another tab on your browser window and stop by Woodcraft's website and see what specials they got going. Between the two of them, you'll find the perfect gift for every woodworker on your list. Okay, with that out of the way, it's time for me to ask you, what are you doing? Hello, I'm your host, Chad Stanton, and on this show, it's not about what I'm making in my shop, but what you're making in your shop. Yes, that's right. You all send in photos of the projects that you're working on to inspire and encourage all of us other woodworkers out there. So, most of you know that I did the show, I Can Do That. And on that show, I think I made 60 different projects. Well, one of the projects I did was this little Asian-inspired jewelry box. Well, our first person today sending in their submission is Gary Fretwell. And Gary did his version of my jewelry box. And I gotta say, I think it looks fabulous. I love the little details that he did to it. He said he made it out of cherry and purple heart. And he said the toughest thing for him in woodworking is he's really concerned about the precision and the precise fitting of everything. Probably doesn't help the fact that he's an aerospace machinist. Yeah. So, I mean, you have to keep in mind you're working with a material that's always moving, expanding, and contracting. So we always shoot for perfection, but you know it's not always going to cooperate with you when you're working with wood. But anyhow, Gary, I thought the box looked great, and feel free to continue to put your personal touch on anything of mine out there that you might come across. Charlie Hinton. Charlie made this gadget organizer. You can see it holds like his cell phone and remote, and I can imagine you put like an iPad and maybe books in it. Yes, books. Maybe some of the young folks don't remember those things, the actual paper bound together and you turn pages. Well, Charlie made this for sitting next to his sofa, and I asked him if he designed that himself, and he said no. He actually got the majority of it from another YouTube show or Pinterest or something of that sort. But he said the original design was put together with just nails and glue, and so he took the opportunity to put rabbits and dados on it. Not only will it make it a stronger construction there, but it was a chance for him to do some other joinery that maybe he wouldn't have done before. So great job on that, Charlie. Willy Cortez. Now, Willy has several projects to show us, or projects he's going to be working on. The first one here is he's flattening this board, and because lots of times if you're working with rough sawn lumber, it's going to have twist, it's going to have crook in it or bow, it'll be warped. And so getting that flat can be a challenge, especially if your machines are smaller than the board you're working on. I had that going on this week in my shop here. So Willy is using his hand planes to get the twist and the warp out and flatten it out. And, you know, he was saying it's a lot of work, and it is. I mean, you want to burn calories, that's a great way to do it, is hand planing. But besides flattening the boards, he's decided to make himself a handle for one of his chisels, and he's even made some iPad stands that, and I imagine those are probably going to be holiday gifts that he's given out. But anyhow, Willy was a busy fellow this week, so thanks for sending in the photos. Violin. Oh, what I like about Paul is really into turning, as you know. turning is my weak point. Dennis is trying to help me in that area and improve with turning. But Paul is self-taught when it comes to turning. And he makes some really nice, they're simple but elegant looking pieces. He's made some bowls here. 2 of them were made out of hard maple, and the last one, let's see, he said it was made out of hard maple and cocobolo, that's just fun to say, isn't it? Cocobolo. Bolo. Wasn't he the villain in Enter the Dragon against Bruce Lee? Boy, I'm showing my age. Anyhow, thanks, Paul, for sending those in. Glenn King. Glenn made this wine rack, and it holds his water cooler underneath it in there, so that's kind of nice. That's hidden and out of sight for everyone to see, and he's got the nice tall cabinet. I think he said it was about 7 foot tall. I forget what it was. He gave me the dimensions. I just forgot to write them down. And what I think is cool here is he took that narrow space between, you can see the window there and the wall, and built something to fit that. And that isn't something possible when you go to the store to buy, in his case, a wine rack. You're not going to find something that's going to fit exactly the way you want it. But us woodworkers have that ability. So thanks for sending that in, Glenn. Looks great, and would love to see more of your work. Theodore Becker. Theodore is making some stairs for a friend of his. He said his friend's stairs were worn out, rotted, and so he said he was going to help him out there. And Theodore made them out of cherry wood. I mean, they look great. I was teasing with them. They look so nice that I don't even think I would want to walk on them. Of course, I guess you'd never get in your house then, but anyhow, I thought that was really nice of Theodore to help him out, and and they look fabulous too. So thanks for sending in the photos. My good friend Peter Compson down there in Australia. Peter came across some pallets, and he saved them because he had a friend who just bought a new house, and he thought as a welcome gift he would make for them some Adirondack chairs and a table. And he was able to build them out of that pallet wood, which I thought was a fantastic, nice gift for him. Very thoughtful. But then he went by the same place, and there's more pallets out there, and he noticed that these pallets were made out of a particular wood that's indigenous down there in Australia, and I forget what it was. He told me, and I didn't write it down. But he took that pallet for himself and made a pair of chairs. And look how nice these look. My God, I never would guess that came from pallet wood. So pretty cool stuff there, Peter. So thanks for sending that in. I know you're going in the summertime down there in Australia where the rest of us are going in the winter, so don't rub it in our face too much, okay? Thanks. George Wilmore. George made this arts and crafts style cabinet, and he did it out of quarter-sawn red oak, which is a very stable wood. Quarter-sawn white oak is typically what you'll see. It gives you a lot of rays and flakes through it because of the way the wood is sawn. But he did it out of red oak, which again, any wood that you can get that's quarter-sawn is going to be very stable. Now, it costs more because the logger or the mill can't yield as much wood from a tree when they saw it quarter sawn versus sawing it plain sawn. But so you will pay a little bit more for it, but it's going to be a lot more stable for you in the end. A lot less movement with the seasonal changes. But I thought it looked great. It was just a fantastic piece, and I love that arts and crafts style. So thanks for sending that in, George. Hope to see more of your work as well. John Martin. Now, John made his daughter needed a desk, and he was going to make a desk. But he decided to not just do a plain average desk, 4 legs and a top. No, he decided to make it have the personal touch of his daughter's favorite animal, which is a giraffe. And I'm thinking to myself, how do you make a table from a giraffe? But he did. So check this out. Check out the table there that John made. I love the leg on it, the leg of the giraffe, the leg of the table. I love the whole background on it. Really cool. I mean, the kid should probably be excited to sit there and at least do her homework now with all that friendly stuff around her versus maybe just a stack of books staring back at her. But anyhow, I thought that was fantastic. John, thanks for sending in your imagination and your creativity there to inspire us. Oh, he also did some live edge tables. And he said it was his first time using that epoxy resin on the top there, which is really durable. But I know the live edge tables are like really popular right now. So I don't know what you're doing with those, but I imagine you could probably sell them, John, and get a few coins for it too. So. All right, so the next one kind of cracked me up. Donald Dean said that he's going to be working on a new project here, but he first had to take a little break, and he said he did some reading of, yes, that's my book. He sent that photo to me. I was cracking up. So now, he didn't really say if he liked the book or not, but he is at least reading it. So thanks, Donald, for that. That really cracked me up, and I appreciate you buying the book. In case anyone's interested, you can get it at Amazon. I literally just checked it before coming out and filming it, and it's marked down from $20 to like $13. I don't know if that's a holiday thing or if Amazon is trying to tell me my book sucks. But so far, the people that I know that have read it have really, really enjoyed it. So if you're looking for a gift, there you go. Just a suggestion. Let's see. Okay, let's move on to the next page. Page 2. What do we got here? Yes, my friend Bill Crispin. Bill has done some cabinets in the past. He's done some tables in the past that he sent in. But this week he said he's just doing a little bit of work around the shop. He wants to make a cabinet for his mortising machine, and he's going to have drawers on it and everything. And it's actually something I was working on today. I just took a cabinet and designated it for my mortising machine. So that's kind of like, I guess, the running thing. I think last week, John Vigorito did something similar too. So anyway, thanks for sending that in, Bill. And I'll be curious if you're going to be using the mortising machine to make anything new soon. Harry Knaus. Harry is new to the show. And Harry said he's actually fairly new to woodworking as well. And he decided to make, for his local VFW hall, they're going into their 85th year. It's their anniversary. And so he made a podium for them. And he said he's got a small shop, but it was enough for him to work in and make this. And he said that his girl, Missy, helped paint that too. So we have to give her some credit for it. And not only was the VFW hall surprised and thrilled because they didn't know he was doing that, I'm sure that's something they're going to keep around for a very long time. And I know all of them probably truly appreciate not only the gift, but the painting and the symbolism on it. So a nice job there, Harry. Ray Hendrich. Ray, since we're talking about the veterans, he made this flag box. He made it out of cherry. And he said he made it for a friend. And maybe that friend served. I imagine they did. That's why they have the flag being presented to him. Looks like he can put some of his medals or medallions down below. Very thoughtful of you there, Ray. I know where I get my wood over at KenCraft, they're really into the flags and the vets. And I think Tracy over there was telling me that there are specific rules for making like flag boxes, how many flags actually have to show, and it's pretty precise stuff. So I don't know if you just kind of winged it or if you followed all the rules and regulations out there, but at any rate, it looks great to me, and I'm sure your friend's going to love it. Mike Scott. Mike made this crib. He's got some grandkids coming, and he made this crib out of pine, and I was really impressed with it. I thought it looked great. Again, I asked him if it was his design, and no, he like others, found a picture online and then kind of changed a few things for his own personal touch to it. And I always say that's fine. That we need that inspiration. That's what actually this show is about. As someone watching this, maybe it gives you an idea for something. Maybe you want to try and build it exactly. I know we've had a couple of viewers actually talk to each other through the comments about projects. I think the one fellow, Philip Quinn, comes to my mind. He was making some chests, and the viewers liked it, and they actually reached out to him and was able to help. And I know there's a couple other folks doing that. So this is a great place for helping and inspiring each other. So don't worry about it, Mike, that if you got that idea from something online, we all do it. Okay, now, this kind of struck me as odd. So the fellow earlier who made the desk with the giraffe to it, when I think of animals, I don't think of the giraffe as the first one that comes to mind. But here is another project this week that is giraffe-based. And this one is from John Hutchinson. And he made the giraffe lamp. Now, John is a little bit different from most. He likes whimsical, quirky things, and he always likes movement in most of his projects. Last week, if you remember, he did the disco waver, which cracked me up. Well, this week he has the giraffe eating lamp, and you can see the gears down there at the bottom moving. Really pretty cool stuff there. Interesting, fun pieces. So thanks for sending that in, John. Andrew Ickham. Now, Andrew has been building a TV console for a while now, and that's because he's designed it. He's been doing it all with hand tools. It's been looking great. Last week he had finished up the doors for it, and that was really pretty much the last thing he had to make for it. But he was waiting on the glass and the hardware, and I thought maybe we were going to see it done this week, and unfortunately no, because I think he said that the glass was like a stained glass, someone was doing that, and the hardware, if I remember, it was being hand forged by a blacksmith, so this is going to be really cool. But he took the opportunity last week to rent a little space because his garage was too small, it wasn't heated. So he rented this space, and he's in there kind of setting up. He's building himself a table to put some tools on. And I think this is fun. I like seeing how his shop's going to evolve and form. And I love small, cozy places. So that's going to be pretty cool. So thanks for the photos there, Andrew. Art Coates. Art Coates sent in this week, speaking of workshops, he sent in his workbench. And Art said that he got the design majority from Paul Sellers, his style of workbench. And it's rugged, fairly lightweight, but solid, sturdy. That's certainly what we want in a bench. And really reasonable because he built it out of some pine and some 2x4s and whatnot. So it works well for him, and he said he's really enjoying doing this. And I'm actually anxious, I was telling him, I'm anxious to start working on my new tool bench, workbench, that's going to be inspired after my buddy Dennis Laney's bench. I'm going to add a few things of my own to it, kind of change it up a little bit, but I like the construction that Dennis had on his a whole lot. So thanks for sending that in, Art. Okay, Ray King. Ray made a desk for his wife. It was made out of cherry and walnut. And I love those two woods together. Both of them have a very rich, deep color to them, and the grain, I think, is incredibly beautiful. But then there you have the contrast of the dark walnut against the reddish, orangish color of the cherry. Looks great. And so I was teasing with Ray that my desk will never look that clear. I always have my desk cluttered. Makes my wife nuts. Anyhow, thanks for sending that in to us, Ray. Jeffrey Stewart. Jeffrey sent in a small project this week. He made a box out of pecan wood, and I really like the look of this. I like the soft curves to it. It looks like he used a box joint there on the corners, which not only gives it strength, but gives it that little extra detail, a little extra flair to kind of look at it and make it have something to stand out. But Jeffrey is there in California, and I think he said his house and that was being threatened by the fire. So certainly any of the viewers that we have over there in California that are either suffering from that or just being displaced and put out for it, we certainly feel sorry for you and hope things get back to normal for you as soon as possible. And hope you haven't lost everything in that fire out there. But as long as you're safe, that's the most important thing. And wrapping up this week is Daniel Lawson. Daniel made this corner table. He said he was making it for his friend's daughter. And he kind of made it out of several things he had just laying around. He had some plywood for the top. The legs were wood out of an attic that's over 100 years old. And then the fronts and the sides and that were made out of the wine boxes. And so there it is built, and then, of course, stained and finished. And I think it's great when people are able to salvage things that otherwise would have been thrown out or burnt or just discarded. And you can turn around and make it into a useful piece there. So good job on that for them, Daniel. So I'm sure they'll love us. If you would like to send in your photos to the show, or if you have woodworking questions, feel free to email me at woodchoppingtime@gmail.com. And I'll be happy to take a look at anything that you have there. Now, as far as Wednesday's show, I was going to do a Wednesday show, but I'll tell you what, I kind of think I'm coming down with something. I'm not really feeling all that good. I feel a little bit of achy going on with my body, got a headache, so I think I probably will skip Wednesday's show. If I should feel better, maybe I'll crank one out and get it to you guys. But what I wanted to talk about on Wednesday was a question came in. A nearby fella stopped over here. He was making a desk for his grandkids. It's a mitered desk there in the corner, and he could not get that gap to be tight no matter what he did. He tried using his table saw and was really accurate with that. And at any rate, I told him bring it over, and within, not even 5 minutes, I had it fixed for him. And it's a pretty cool little trick. And I was thinking about showing that on Wednesday, but I have to show it from multiple angles so you can fully understand it. So I think that's going to be Friday's video. It's going to be a quick tip, and it's a neat tip to put into your knowledge bank up there. So whenever you run into the situation, so let's look for that on Friday. Okay, as always, thank you so much for watching and tuning in every week, and thank you for sending in your submissions here to the show and writing to me. And as always, keep on dancing.